Thank you, everybody, for coming to the Aaron Torres Podcast YouTube page. If you could do me a quick favor, see that little subscribe button at the bottom of your screen? Go ahead, click that subscribe button. Really does help our channel grow, our audience grow, and I really do appreciate it more than you know. So click that subscribe button. Appreciate your support. Now, here's the video that you came here for. The Tennessee Volunteers, they played Syracuse. We didn't talk Tennessee-Syracuse. We did talk, of course, Tennessee's former quarterback, Nico Iamaleava, just looking awful, basically, for lack of a better term, against Utah for UCLA in his debut. Nico looked bad. The reads were off. Every time he ran, he got killed. And, we had the conversation about Nico. Worse football situation, less money, terrible parenting, whatever. Same time, I want to say this, is Tennessee fans, I'm not claiming to speak for all of you. I think most of you are over the previous quarterback. You're excited about this year's team. You're excited about your current quarterback. And so I just want to take a half a second to talk a little bit about Tennessee and talk a little bit about their new quarterback, that guy that you see right there, Joey Aguilar, okay? Because to me, I do think, now I don't know that I felt this way, but I do think that when Nico did leave and you have this Joey Aguilar kid and nobody knows much about him, I think everybody had kind of just given up on Tennessee for this year. Now, to me, I didn't, because part of it is the schedule. The four worst teams in the SEC, according to the preseason rankings, Vandy, Arkansas, Kentucky, and Mississippi State. Tennessee's the only one that plays all of them. They don't play Texas. They don't play Ole Miss. They don't play LSU. They do play Bama and Georgia. But I just bring it up because I wasn't as down on them. But I do think there were a lot of people that felt like the ceiling may be lower with Joey Aguilar, quarterback. Well, I bring it up because Saturday proved that not only is the ceiling lower, but that Tennessee may have made an upgraded quarterback. And to take it a step further, they may have won that quarterback trade with UCLA. Joey Aguilar, listen, he wasn't perfect. Nobody is. By the way, fans get mad when I say, who expects him to be perfect? I'm just saying. I'm just trying to be fair, okay? But 16 to 28 passing, 3 touchdowns. He had that deep ball that was just a thing of beauty to Braylon Staley. And he looked the part. And by the way, Josh Heupel, great quarterbacks coach. But at the same time, we also got to give Joey Aguilar a lot of credit. Looked very calm, looked very poised. The moment didn't look too big for him, made big throws, could actually read defenses. Wink, wink, nod, nod, not referencing anyone specifically. But I bring it up because he looked awesome. What was also interesting to me was what Josh Heupel had to say after the game about Joey Aguilar. Producer Matt, go ahead, show us what he said. He said, was asked about Joey Aguilar. He is who he was on the practice field, just very even-keeled and composed. I thought he handled the operation extremely well in the football game, just very steady, and that's a testament to who he is. That's who he is as a person, and certainly how he handled things today. So it's a really good start for him. You look at a guy that's come in and in 3.5 months, whatever it might be, to be able to learn, grasp, and play the way he did today, it's a testament to his work. Now listen, at first glance, that doesn't look like the most unbelievable quote that you have ever seen, right? Oh, he works really hard and he's come in and he's been steady on the practice field and he seems like a good guy. Not, we're not going to be telling, it's not exactly a declaration of independence, okay? It's not exactly, I have a dream. We're not going to be telling our kids that in 50 years. But why it's especially interesting is because he played very well, and it is sort of in direct contrast with what Deshaun Foster, the UCLA coach, said when Joey Aguilar left that program in the spring. If you remember, so The Athletic, and listen, I like The Athletic. I actually did some work for The Athletic when they first started, neither here nor there. But they did a story. By the way, remember, if you're a Tennessee fan, Torres on the Vols for all your late-breaking Tennessee news. Bring it up because The Athletic did this weird piece in the summer. It was right around Big Ten Media Day. It was when Nico made his debut at Big Ten Media Day. And I like Bruce Feldman. But it wasn't just a puff piece. It was almost like embarrassing how much he gassed up the UCLA program. But there was an interesting quote that I think justifiably upset Tennessee fans. You could pop it up, Producer Matt, because there was a line in that article that said UCLA had brought in Appalachian State transfer quarterback Joey Aguilar last winter in hopes he could spark the offense, but halfway through the spring, Foster wasn't sold on his quarterback's connection to the receivers and his film study habits. Okay. So it's not a direct quote of Deshaun Foster, but at the same time, it was such an unnecessary shot. This kid comes in, he does everything right. You recruit over him with Nico Iamaleava, and that he didn't connect with the receivers and that, his practice habits aren't good enough. Excuse you, like, who are you to say that, or who are you to even insinuate that to Bruce Feldman so that Bruce Feldman can write it? It was clear that Deshaun Foster was trying to get the message out. Hey, don't blame me. It was on that kid over there. He wasn't good enough. We had an obligation to replace him, okay? I thought it was a BS line. I thought it was total crap. And I just bring it up because Joey Aguilar kind of proved some people wrong on Saturday, right? The idea that he didn't connect with his receivers at UCLA, well, guess what? Seemed to connect with them pretty well, at Tennessee. As I said, 16 to 28, 247 yards passing, 3 TDs. And as I think more and more about this situation, I think Tennessee upgraded a quarterback. And a couple things. One, as far as the Deshaun Foster quote is concerned, like, what's especially insulting is if you actually know Joey Aguilar's story, like, no one could ever question the kid's work ethic. Went to 2 different JUCOs. At both JUCOs, had to earn the starting spot, was not given it to him. Then goes to App State, is a backup, earns the starting spot. So the fact that Deshaun Watson even said that, it kind of pisses me off. And I'm not even a Tennessee fan. I'm not an Agalar. I don't know Joey Aguilar, whatever. But 2, on top of that, to question his work ethic, to question whatever, to question his connection with receivers. Well, guess what? The connection seemed pretty good to me on Saturday afternoon. 16 to 28, as I said, 247 yards, 3 touchdowns. And I'll just sit there and say this, Tennessee fans, I don't want to speak for you, but one of the sentiments that I got a lot over this course of this weekend was, I think we upgraded a quarterback. I think we're better at quarterback today than we were a year ago. And I do think that Joey Aguilar, all of a sudden, the ceiling on Tennessee feels a lot different thanks to Joey A. I think they're calling him Joey Football down in Knoxville. But the ceiling does feel different because, remember, last year, Tennessee got to the college football playoff because of the defense and the run game. Now, the defense certainly has some things to clean up. Gave up 26 points to Syracuse. Overall, Syracuse did finish with just under 400 yards of total offense. But the run game was again phenomenal. Star Thomas and Deshaun Bishop were both excellent. The O-line is only going to get better because, I don't know, the number 1 recruit in America at offensive tackle didn't play on Saturday. And then the defense is going to get better and is going to be very good. And so now all of a sudden, if you get a half a tick upgraded quarterback, we're serious right now? Because if we're serious, what I'm talking about is a team that I think all of a sudden the schedule feels a lot different, right? Listen, there's tough games on the road. There's tough games, period. But think about this schedule, right? You get Georgia at home in 2 weeks. I don't think the moment's going to be too big for Joey Aguilar. Meanwhile, Gunnar Stockton, first career road start. I'm not saying, I'm just saying. At Alabama. That was one in the preseason I had chalked up as a victory for Alabama. After what you saw from Alabama on Saturday, do you think that that's a game that they're going to go ahead and just dominate Tennessee? Because I don't think so. So, yeah, Florida's going to be tough. Florida is a place that's always given Tennessee trouble in Gainesville. But, again, look at the schedule. Vandy, Arkansas, Kentucky, Mississippi State. Alabama doesn't look unbeatable. Georgia, Gunnar Stockton's first career road start. I'm not saying, I'm just saying credit Joey Aguilar, credit Joey Football. Love the quote from Josh Heupel. I think Tennessee's in really good shape. I think we need to start talking about them as legit and maybe even better than we realized. Really quickly, David Speaks says, I forgot this. It's not Joey Aguilar. It's Joey Swagilar. Nico held us back last year, Aaron. Joey Swagilar will take us to the promised land.